Sometimes it's interesting how, when you think about the idea of safety, the mind has this natural tendency to seek comfort. You might have noticed how, in certain situations, it feels so much easier to stay in a space where everything feels certain, predictable, familiar. And yet, there's something curious about this comfort zone, isn't there? Because even though it might feel safe deep down, there's this quiet whisper just beneath the surface that suggests there's something more, something different that might lie just beyond what's known. So imagine just for a moment, standing at the edge of something new, something you've never experienced before, something that's a little bit scary, maybe even uncertain. Now you could stay where you are, in that comfortable place, where nothing really changes, and in doing so, you'd avoid the discomfort, avoid the possibility of rejection, of failure, or even that sinking feeling of self-doubt. You could stay in that space where it's easy, where there's nothing to lose. But at the same time, what would you be missing out on? Just imagine the possibilities, the potential. If you're willing to step forward, if you were to open up to something more. You see, the mind works in such fascinating ways. It tends to protect you from the unknown by keeping you in what feels safe. But that very protection, in its attempt to prevent pain or discomfort, it can also be the thing that stops you from realizing what you're truly capable of. Because the truth is, the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, and even the fear of feeling worthless, they only remain powerful when you give them control. What if instead you could let go of that control? What if, rather than being held back by fear, you could allow those feelings to transform into something else entirely? Now think about it. When you were a child, you didn't hesitate to try new things, even when you were unsure of the outcome. You learned to walk, to talk, to experience, all while taking risks, making mistakes, falling down, and getting up again and again. And each time you did, you became stronger. You gained more confidence. You found your way. Now, doesn't it make sense? That same potential exists for you today. No matter what you may think about it, no matter what your mind tells you about safety or fear, you can still choose to take small, steady steps forward towards something new and see what unfolds from there. And here's the thing. When you take that step, when you allow yourself the freedom to step into the unknown, you may notice something incredible happening. What once felt like fear or doubt, it begins to shift. It becomes a natural part of the process of growth. It's like a muscle, really. At first, it might feel a little uncomfortable, but with every experience, it grows stronger. And just like that, you start to see you're not defined by rejection or failure. In fact, every time you try, every time you step out, you learn something valuable. You grow, you expand, and you begin to realize your worth, it isn't tied to perfection, but to the courage to continue trying, no matter the outcome. So now imagine, each time you step out, each time you take a risk, you're not just risking failure or rejection. Instead, you're opening yourself up to the possibility. Every step you take, it's a chance to learn, to grow, and to discover new strengths within yourself. And that's incredibly powerful, isn't it? Because deep down, you know your true value. It isn't about avoiding mistakes or keeping yourself safe from harm. It's about how you respond, how you adapt, and how you continue to move forward no matter what. You've always had this ability inside you. It's always been there, quietly waiting, ready to emerge when the time is right. And the more you embrace it, the more it becomes natural. You can choose at any moment to trust yourself, to trust that each experience, no matter what it is, it'll help you become even stronger, even more capable, even more confident. And as you do that, notice how the old stories, the ones that say you're not enough, that say you might fail, that say you might be rejected, those stories, they start to fade into the background. They start to lose their power. Because the more you focus on what you can gain, the more you realize you've always had everything you need to succeed, to grow, to be fully present, to be fully yourself. So the next time you think about stepping out, about taking a risk. Imagine it's not just a step towards something unknown. It's a step towards becoming the person you're always meant to be. The person who's capable of so much more than they ever realised. And with each step, you get a little closer to that version of yourself who embraces new opportunities without hesitation, without fear, knowing every experience it's a chance to learn, to grow, and to feel more confident in who you are. And as you breathe in deeply, in and out, you begin to notice how natural it is to simply be. And isn't it fascinating how, as you take each breath, you can relax deeper, knowing in this moment you're exactly where you need to be. There's nothing you need to do to rush ahead, to force the change. Because in truth, change, it's something that happens naturally. It's always happening, like the subtle flow of a river, quietly shaping the landscape without ever needing to push or strive. Now imagine for a moment, you're standing on the edge of a wide open space, and ahead of you there's a path that leads somewhere new, somewhere you've never been before. It might seem uncertain at first, perhaps even a little intimidating, and yet as you look closer, you realise something remarkable. That path is not about the destination, but the experience of stepping forward. Each step, each moment, is part of your journey, one that brings you closer to understanding more of yourself, your strengths and your potential. Isn't it true? There's always more to discover. Like how, when you were learning to ride a bike, at first it was wobbly, uncertain, and maybe even a little scary. But as you keep going, something wonderful began to happen. You found balance, you found rhythm, and suddenly, what once seemed difficult becomes easy, natural, a part of who you are. It was never about avoiding the wobbles. It was about knowing the wobbles, they're a part of the process of finding your stability. It's about trusting, even in uncertainty. You're still moving forward, learning, growing with each moment. And what if right now you could see every moment of uncertainty in your life in the same way? What if instead of thinking of uncertainty as something to fear, you could view it as a sign that you're stepping into new territory, territory that holds endless potential for growth, for transformation, for success, beyond your wildest imagination? Because when you take a risk, it's not about betting against yourself. It's about betting on yourself, knowing that no matter what happens, you're learning, you're evolving, you're capable of handling anything that comes your way. Think of the times in your life when you face challenges. Perhaps you've even felt that familiar feeling of hesitation, that moment when it seems safer to stay where you are, to avoid the discomfort, to stay small. But isn't it fascinating how every time you've chosen to face discomfort, every time you've taken that step forward, you've emerged stronger, wiser, more confident? And what if with each new challenge you could remember that part of you that's always known how to move through, how to adapt, how to find your way? Imagine just for a moment the fear, the hesitation, the doubts that you sometimes feel. They're not barriers to your success, but they're signs that you're growing. And with each step, you become more skilled in navigating them. Just like learning to walk or learning to ride a bike. It's not about avoiding fear. It's about realizing fear can coexist with your confidence, your courage, your ability to move forward. Because in truth, fear, it's simply another part of the process. Just like excitement, curiosity and passion. They're all signals guiding you to what's next, showing you what's possible when you take action, when you move beyond what's familiar, and when you trust the journey itself will show you the way. Now as you take that first step, or even the second or third step, you can begin to notice how easy it is to let go of old stories. The ones that say you're not enough, that say you might fail, that say the world is too risky or too harsh. Those stories, you see, they're just like old clothes that no longer fit, outgrown by who you've become, by all you've learned, by all the ways you've changed. And now you're ready to wear a new story, a new belief about what's possible, one that's aligned with your growth, your potential and your power. As you breathe deeply, each breath becomes a signal to your body and your mind that you're ready for whatever comes next. You're open to learning. You're open to risk. You're open to the new possibility that you can handle whatever challenges arise. And with every breath, you reinforce that belief, allowing it to sink deeper, becoming an unconscious part of you, a belief that serves you, a belief that propels you forward. Imagine now you're standing before a vast, beautiful horizon. There's nothing but endless possibility in front of you. And you know, just beyond the horizon is a place where you're no longer afraid of rejection, no longer afraid of failure, no longer afraid of not being enough. You've realised deep inside the rejection, it isn't a reflection of who you are. It's simply a moment, a learning opportunity, a step towards something greater. And with each step you take, each risk you embrace, you become more and more tuned to the incredible potential that lies within you. Now, what would it be like if you began to see challenges, obstacles, or moments of uncertainty as opportunities? Opportunities to prove to yourself, not that you're perfect, but that you're resilient, adaptable, capable of handling whatever comes your way. What if you could look at every experience, every moment, with the curiosity of a child, knowing it holds something valuable for you to learn? Because every risk, every choice to step outside of your comfort zone, brings you closer to your true self. The more you take these steps, the more you realise the powerful, capable person you've always been, even if you didn't realise it before. As you move forward, notice how the fear of rejection, the fear of failure, the fear of not being enough begins to fade. It's replaced by a deep knowing that you're always enough just as you are, that every experience contributes to your growth, and that nothing, absolutely nothing, can take away your worth. And so, as you move into each new moment, you can allow yourself to be guided by the knowledge that the journey itself, with all its challenges and risks, is your pathway to freedom, to power, and to becoming more of the person you're always meant to be. Every step you take from here is a confirmation that you're ready, that you're worthy, and that your potential is limitless.